What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. That is Ari. I'm Korea. Look, obviously, we're kind of in remorse because it's the end of another NBA season. Unfortunately, the Celtics did get the win last night in pretty much dominant fashion. They controlled most of that game, and obviously we didn't have any picks for that game, but just the end of another basketball season. Unfortunately, the Celtics now the new champions, dethroning the Nuggets yesterday. So that's unfortunate, but just doing a quick recap of how we did yesterday. First, with my Pennsylvania first five parlay, obviously backing the Pirates and Phillies through the first five, and that was very free. The Phillies obviously was, like I said, just fading Randy Vasquez. That guy sucks, and obviously that was definitely the right play. The Phillies got to him. Kyle Schwarber in June is a different animal. I always talk about June Schwarber, and people, all Philly fans love talking about how in June he's just this, the next coming of Barry Bonds. We saw yesterday that he had I think the 440 240 440 foot bombs. It was incredible to see. And then for the Pirates, obviously, we were mostly backing Paul Skeens. One early run for the Reds. That was a little bit of a scare, but like I said, it was mostly Reds bullpen day. I know it was. I forgot it was like Carson. I forgot. I think Spy. I forgot what his last name is, but he was getting a majority of the work, and he definitely let on more of the runs. Obviously, the Pirates scored right in the first inning with an immediate response with their two runs, and then they expanded on that. So that was obviously great to see. Not having to worry about being down for too long. Pirates definitely responding quick and not letting that lead up. Obviously, Paul Skeens working after that one run went in. And obviously for the Phillies as well. Just fading Randy Vasquez. On the mound. Not having to worry about what's going on the other side. And that was definitely the key. So that was a great plus money parlay. That definitely hit for me. So that was great to see my one winner yesterday hit. Ari, how did you do yesterday?
Yeah, tough 0-2 day for me. The Cubs, it was always, like we said, the first five under. We talked about as well in that game. And to kind of make it even worse in the bottom of the fifth, when they're down, when looking at first and third, one out, Bellinger hits a fly ball, and I think it was Wisdom gets thrown at home that could have at least pushed with the chance to win. So I think they would have had a runner on second with two outs, 1-1 if he scored. He got thrown at home for the final out, so that's like the cherry on top for this a bad bet. And then the Blue Jays first five, first inning, back-to-back home runs by I think O'Neill and Devers. And then in the bottom of the second, Blues got one back, and it looked like they could have a rally. They had two on, one out, down 2-1, and couldn't do anything more. And then the Red Sox just kept pouring it on in the first five. So that was obviously even worse. So yeah, tough 0-2 day for me yesterday.
Yeah, things kind of went bad to worse with the Blue Jays. Obviously, you mentioned O'Neill and Devers going back to back in that first inning, and I even mentioned it. I said Kikuchi didn't get his sleep last night. I guess only got
I
7 hours.
think it was Kikuchi's birthday also, if I'm not mistaken. Make it even worse.
Not on my birthday. Oh man. Well, obviously, I guess he didn't get enough sleep because he's out partying too much. Obviously had a rough start. You mentioned Kikuchi with Devers and alongside O'Neill just going going yard early, and then the Cubs tough first five money line loss for you. You mentioned had a great opportunity in the bottom of the fifth, just couldn't get it done. We were talking about that first five under as a different lean. Excuse me, just because that line. Oh my god, the line was so juiced because pitching matchup, the wind blowing out, but we were mostly targeting backing the pitchers. That did hit the first five under, but obviously the bullpens did their thing, and that full game over did hit. So don't have to worry about that. But obviously tough loss for you on the Cubs first five money line. Unfortunate 1-2 day for us, but we're gonna bounce back today. Obviously on this Tuesday, and usually there's obviously there's a great slate, but there's not a ton of value I like, just because there's a lot of juiced matchups, obviously like the Dodgers and Rockies. Oh, brother. So I'm just taking the Reds today, money on the money line. We're getting them at a good price at minus 130. It's my one and only play today. Look, there's this great system that I don't think a lot of people know. It's called The Game After Paul Skeens. And after Paul Skeens pitches, the Pirates are 0-5 in their last five, I think, games, just straight up after Paul Skeens pitches. And usually that's Bailey Falter. And we know who's on the mound today for the Pirates, Bailey Falter. So we're mostly just going to be backing the Reds here at this money line at minus 130. On the other side, it is a pitcher I like to back on the Reds. It's Nick Lodolo. He has great stats against this Pirates team. And we're just backing the system here, just kind of fading the Pirates after Paul Skeens. And, especially after yesterday, after it was mostly, the Reds obviously got to that hot start, but then, it was just all Pirates after that, with the Reds bullpen game. But now they have their reliable starter, Lodolo, on the mound, who can carve through this Pirates lineup. And Bailey Falter, who has struggled against this Reds lineup before. I think he allows a 315 batting average against them. We're getting the Reds at a decent price at minus 130 on the road. Trying to bounce back after a tough loss yesterday. So I'm taking the Reds money line here at minus 130. Just kind of backing backing the system. Fading the Pirates after a Paul Skeens start. 0-5 straight up in the last 5 games. Hopefully 0-6 today. Just backing the Reds here at minus 130. We're getting it for a good price here. It's my one and only play for you today. Ari, what have you clicked up on this Tuesday?
Yeah, I have 2 plays. I'm actually on the Reds as well. For pretty much the same reasons you mentioned for the most part. Obviously, backing Lodolo for the most part. Falter has been, pretty good, all things considered, I think, compared to expectations heading into the season, but still not, super good. And I think the Reds can get to him even on the road in this game. Like you said, Lodolo has been pitching really well. He's actually, I guess it makes sense because the Reds is a hitters-friendly ballpark, but he's pitched better on the road, which, makes sense, obviously. Like a 2.55 ERA on the road compared to like a 3.2, which is still good even at home for him. But yeah, he's been pitching well all season, especially on the road. So yeah, just backing the Reds there. And then I'm just going to but I'm going to, at least until it starts to show something, I'm going to fade the Rangers with the way they look right now. They've scored more than 3 runs just once in the last 7 games. And that one game was only because the Mariners had their last reliever in the bullpen in the game. And in the 9th inning, when they almost made the comeback and scored 5 runs and still lost the game. And they've lost 4 in a row now. I think 5 of their last 7. Mets have been on fire as of like the last week and a half. So I like Lorenzen with the Rangers, so I think he can, at least keep them in the game. But I'm mostly just fading the Rangers bats with how they've looked the past week or so. At basically even money or close to it, at minus 115. So 2 plays for me, just quick today: Reds ML and Mets ML.
We already talked about the Reds. We're both on the same play for the same reason. Backing Lodolo. You mentioned his road ERA. Obviously, you mentioned Great American Ballpark being a hitter-friendly ballpark, so he does struggle at home. So, obviously going to PNC, a little bit more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark. I do think the Reds, do get the win today. I do like backing Lodolo today. And then, obviously, you talked about, the Mets money line today. Excuse me, the Grimace Mets, obviously, after their hot start after the Grimace first pitch, have not lost a single game since then, which is absolutely insane. Maybe this changes things in that clubhouse, and maybe Grimace becomes a local staple for the New York Mets. But after the New York Jets put up that football score, the New York Mets put up that football score yesterday against the Texas Rangers. You're just kind of backing this team. Fading the Rangers mostly, kind of asking them, hey, show up, have your bat show up today. You mentioned, it's Luis Severino on the mound for the Mets today. And, he has had one of I guess you can kind of say a bounce back, comeback kind of season for him, after, throughout his time in the other team in New York, he has had, his ups and downs there, but now going to Queens, he definitely has had a little bit of a rebound, resurgence. And I do think, he definitely has a great day today. And, you mentioned fading Michael Lorenzen. I was kind of looking at an under in this play, just kind of fading the Rangers bats, and the Mets bats kind of being inconsistent, especially after putting up 14 runs yesterday. But I do like the Mets here, kind of just especially fading the Rangers bats. They've been really ice cold, you mentioned, ever since, kind of since the beginning of the month, and, heading through the Mariners series, not really being consistent. So I do love those 2 plays for you. Obviously, I am on the Reds as well. And then obviously the Mets for you. Those are our 2 kind of three-ish, two plays, one combined play. Obviously, you can find all of these plays on our Twitter below AKP Sports Talk, along with this video that will be posted momentarily. But that's going to do it for this episode. Unfortunately, we don't have any more NBA, but obviously we got more WNBA. Obviously, I know Ari's been really cooking in the WNBA lab recently. Obviously, I'm in the Euro bag. Tomorrow I'm going to be giving out some Copa America futures with Thursday. I know it's right around the corner. Thursday is the beginning of the Copa America tournament, and that will be a lot of fun. So we got soccer and we got the Olympics coming up soon. So it's not going to be a boring summer, but I know we don't got the NBA anymore, so let's not hang our heads too low. But that's going to do it for this episode. That's Ari. I'm Korea. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Win some money, and we'll see you tomorrow.